evening. It's wonderful to be here today. I'm just going to start with a quote this evening. Every great love starts with a great story. I think all of us love stories. We've grown up as children with stories. Our families have continuously told us stories. And like you, I love stories too. Today my story is going to be about my journey with stories which led into history, which led into Coimbatore. The journey into the past, visioning into the future is what is my message and my learning for the day. So I was born into this, privileged to be born into this family which had an amazing history. For 700 years my ancestors have lived here. And all around me was stories and history. So it's natural that I understood and I thought about history a lot. But I was also fortunate to have storytellers, fantastic storytellers all around me, because they would always tell you things about how it was or how it started. My grandmother, how can I forget her? She lived till she was 98. Till 98, she kept entertaining us with stories. She kept entertaining us with a lot of history. She kept on telling us about what she saw and what she had heard of. She lived like a zamindarani and she continued to teach us history. My grandfather, who's 92 this year, continues to tell us stories, tell us history and inspire us. Inspire us with incidents, inspire us with fantastic stories of Coimbatore, of India, of the world. These two people and many others were my Wikipedia. From my birth, Wikipedia into past, into history. It was a fantastic learning and it opened my eyes and I set out into an adventure. I set out into an adventure to learn, to understand and start my journey of discovery of history. History, of course, we all know Alexander, we all know Ashoka, we might know Rajaraja Chola, but for some reason my fascination started with local history. Local history being Coimbatore, the city of Coimbatore, the region of Coimbatore, and the larger region of Konkanad. Spent a lot of time trying to understand this history, and it was fascinating as I started discovering more and more. All of us know about Coimbatore. It's a fantastic city. We are in the city. We are proud about it. It is one of the hotspots of entrepreneurship in the world. Today there is textile, engineering, education, healthcare that is world class in the city. The city is one of the best in India to live in and one of the best in Asia because of the entrepreneurial spirit and technology that has come into this in the city. But what made the city fantastic? Was it accidental or what made the city what it is? This is what my question was initially. The city has an interesting mix of people. It is cosmopolitan. It is collaborative. Whatever Coimbatore has done, people have collaborated together to understand, to work together, to progress the city. People are very cultured. Most importantly, people are very enterprising. They want to grow and they want to keep on growing. All of us are very proud about this today. Trying to understand what this Coimbatore is was my interest. And I was very proud, very passionate, but I also wanted to know how did this start. This journey over the last many years in trying to discover this history of Coimbatore was very interesting. But now let me take you into this fantastic history. I want you to hold your breath, strap up because we're going back into time, not into recent past, but a very, very, very ancient past. We're going to go back about 6,000 years. 6,000 years back into history from today. We're going to go back into the Stone Age. And I know history class for many of you would have been boring, so was mine in some times, but how do we make it interesting? We've heard about facts, figures, wars, kings, and many things, but to make history fantastic and fascinating, sometimes you have to see to believe. It's not only reading. So today I thought, not making it a history class, I'm going to show you something. Show you something which I was fascinated by. My first object, which to transport you back to a few thousand years, as I said 6,000 years, I'm going to show you something. This is a stone. Naturally, many of us see it on the road, in a farm, or in the forest. What is special about it? I said 6,000 years ago. This is a hand axe found very near Coimbatore. It was a hand axe used by humans, our ancestors of this region, 6,000 years ago. This is a real piece of stone which was shaped and formed by people 6,000 years ago and used. So this, what does this tell us? This tells us that people lived here, there was life here and civilization here. Is that all? So we have proven that Coimbatore and this region has a fantastic history. That was in the Stone Age. If you come down closer to time, not very close, if you went back about 2,500 years ago, let me show you my second object. Let me show you my second object, which is a small piece of pottery. I'm not sure how many of you have seen something like this. Potters even today can make this. Potters very close to your house or somewhere else make things like this, but the craft is not new. This is 2,500 years old. It was found in a burial. This is a container used to store something, and this is again very much in the Coimbatore region. Why did I show you these two things? These are not new trade or new skill or new manufacturing that we have found. Our region was flourishing. Our region was very thriving even thousands of years ago. I showed you the stone. The coin in the center. The coin in the center is my third object. I don't have the real coin to show you. But the coin in the center is not an Indian coin. It was not made in Coimbatore, but it is a Roman coin. A Roman coin found in the year 300 after death of Christ, which is about 2,000 years old. It is during the period of Emperor Tiberius or Augustus. So how did Roman coins come to Coimbatore? Roman coins came to Coimbatore because the Romans came to Coimbatore. They were trading with Coimbatore. They came in through Kerala, came into Coimbatore, and what did they want to trade in Coimbatore? Maybe they bought pepper, maybe they bought other things from our people here, but most importantly, they also bought cotton muslin, fine cotton fabric. So textile in Coimbatore is not new. It is 2,000 years ago, and we exported it too. That is not the speciality in this. Outside Europe, outside the Roman Empire, the great Roman Empire, the maximum number of coins discovered, unearthed anywhere in the world is in Coimbatore, in Vellalur. In just the outskirts of Coimbatore, Vellalur has continuously given us hundreds of Roman coins like nowhere else in India, nowhere else in the world outside the Roman Empire. This also shows that fantastic trade was happening in this region. We must have been rich and flourishing. So the global connect is not new. So these three things which I have just shown you proves the history of Coimbatore to a certain extent. So let me fast forward this history journey. Many kings, many dynasties have influenced Coimbatore. Maybe Coimbatore did not have a large dynasty, a powerful king which we can boast of, but what is interesting is every dynasty and every king was interested in Coimbatore. Why were they interested in the Kongu region or Coimbatore? Because we were a hotspot for trade, but all the ancient trade routes, right from Rome up till China, crossed through this region. So everybody wanted to own this point because they can control trade. If they control trade, we all know what happens. They make money. So Coimbatore continuously, for the next 1,000 years, was part of some kingdom, dynasty, the Cheras, the Cholas, the Vodayars of Mysore, the Sultans. Everybody had an influence here, and that's why Coimbatore has become cosmopolitan. Different kinds of people came into Coimbatore, settled here, which makes us truly cosmopolitan. Let's come to the 19th century. The 19th century meaning the 1800s. This is the modern era, which I think is a landmark era for Coimbatore. It's a fantastic period in history. But what do we want to remember in it? We want to remember something which is fantastic. But this fantastic period started, sadly, with tragedy. In 1877, a terrible disaster, a famine struck Coimbatore. 2 lakh people died here. 2 lakh people died in the district of Coimbatore with a terrible famine. What did we learn out of this? That disaster has come here. I think somebody related to every one person here, whoever is a Coimbatorian, would have died in that tragedy. It did not stop. 1891, again the second famine came. Thousands of livestock and animals died. This is clearly shown in the British records. Did not stop. In 1900, about 114 years ago, on a February early morning at 3 o'clock, earthquake struck Coimbatore. The last reported earthquake in South India is in Coimbatore. It happened in February 1900. Thankfully, a lot of people did not die. After this, the British in their gazetteer, the Imperial Gazetteer in 1908, have written something about Coimbatore which is in some ways startling. What did they write about us? They said this is a simple little town, temperate in weather, good to live in, but not fit for any more enhancement or development. They have written that Coimbatore should not be developed any further because there is no natural resources. This was the state of Coimbatore, of the modern Coimbatore, about 100 years ago. What happened after that? So today we see fantastic city, global connectivity, amazing enterprises, everything is in our control, technology, science, everything is in our control. What happened in the last 100 years? That's when my fascination was even more and I got inspired a lot more. Is we had a fantastic, amazing history, but we've had a even more amazing modern history. How did this happen? This was not accident. This was not automatic. Many legendary people, many inspiring personalities got together and started working for Coimbatore. 2 aspects changed the history of Coimbatore: the Paikara Power Project and the Sirvani Water Project. Sirvani Water made us livable as a city because a lot of people could get water. Paikara brought in power, electricity, which means that more industries could come. After which textile boomed. The British gave us cotton, modern machinery, and exported a lot during the Industrial Revolution. Coimbatore changed like never before. What is this that I learned out of this journey? I learned that Coimbatore is a magnificent city, but had an even more amazing history, an ancient past. But what is history? History for me was interesting because I was going into the past and getting to know things, seeing things like this that others hadn't seen. But what it taught me, what it woke me up was history is not simple. It does not teach you the past. It actually gives you a vision for the future. It gives you a vision for the future because I started thinking if my grandfather and grandmother had stories to tell every day, they had history to tell every day because they were part of something that they influenced life. It started understanding to me, I understood much better that history is not made by somebody else. Each one of us have to contribute to this and make sure that we are part of some story. We create some story. What are we going to tell our grandchildren? What is our story for Coimbatore? So that is when my search into the past gave me a vision for the future. I understood that this is not simple. History teaches us not the past alone. Without history, without a reconnected to our roots, we will never know something for the future. I, for sure, like many of you, will have stories like my grandparents to tell tomorrow. I am excited, patriotic, and with a lot of pride about the city of Coimbatore, but it will have a future. It will have a historical future only if we start doing things from today. So my stories, my inspiration into history, my learning from history has led me into a vision into the past, has made sure that I can imagine, like many of you, what will happen in tomorrow in this city, in this great history, so that we will be part, like leaving something back like the Stone Age, what they have left back as proof of great development. Thank you. This is my journey of trying to start from stories, history, inspiration, and Coimbatore tomorrow. Thank you.